So, I've been trying to do this video for a few weeks now. I've had 6+ months to think about it, and all of the tries and even the thinking about just doing this conjured up so much emotion that I never thought I'd be able to get through actually filming it. I fully understand and grasp how fortunate we are to have this amazing opportunity to live in a different country and experience a different culture, and how great it is that through Shayna's hard work, she was able to make this happen for us. As happy as we are to be here and experiencing this, we also had to leave New York. New York wasn't the first city that I've moved to or left. It held something special for me. And Shayna and I have talked about this in great deal with how we felt. And this is about what we kind of came up with. And she helped me through realizing why I was so emotionally attached to New York. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I lived there for 27, 28 years. It was home. It will always be home. It's where my family's from. It's the city that shaped me into the person that I am now. It kind of gave the foundation for the man I am now. The city was never my city. That was my family's city. You know, that was my grandparents' city and my great-grandparents' city and my mom and my dad's city. And while it was and still is an awesome city, it was never my city. I left Chicago and I moved to Virginia, Northern Virginia, Fairfax. Pretty much from the time that I arrived in Virginia, I didn't like it. Virginia put me in an uncomfortable situation. And that was the first time in my life that I was uncomfortable and I had to find a way through it. A few years in, I was extremely homesick, very depressed, didn't know which way was up. But I slowly became friends with this group of people that are remarkable and are still a major part of my life, and made my time in Virginia so memorable and so awesome in so many ways. I also met Shayna there, so I met my wife in Virginia, and it was great. We left Virginia and we moved to Washington, D.C., and I know that, you think like, oh, well, it's Washington, D.C., it's just right over the river, but it's a completely different lifestyle. That was me getting back into the city, leaving the city of Chicago and then living in the suburbs, which is pretty much all of Northern Virginia is just a suburb. Getting back into DC was me getting back into the city, and Shayna and I lived in DC together, and this was no longer her state that she grew up in, or which was Virginia, or Virginia that I disliked, but it was her and I moving consciously into a city environment and making a life for ourselves. DC was amazing. I love DC, and I will move back to DC in a heartbeat. For all the negative that it gets, when you live in DC, you understand how amazing DC is and everything that it has to offer. Then New York came about. And it's a long and roundabout way of getting to the fact of why New York meant so much to me. And I can't speak for Shayna, but we've spoken about it a lot, and New York meant a lot to her too, because moving to New York was the most uncomfortable situation that I had been in pretty much in my life. And part of it is that I moved to New York 6 months before Shayna did. So I was plopped in this city in Brooklyn, New York, neighborhood of Crown Heights, in a new apartment with roommates at almost 40 years old while finishing undergrad, and my wife wasn't there with me. For 6 months, Shayna and I went back and forth seeing each other every other weekend. Then when Shayna moved up, I lost my job and she had to support us. And then I went back to work and I didn't really like the work, but Shay and I were there in it together. And then I quit my job to go back to school. But through all of this, New York was ours. New York was the first place that Shayna and I had ever lived that was 100% us. We had no safety net. We were either going to make it in that city or we were going to miserably fail. But we had no plan B. So we just went 100% head first into New York. And we fell in love with it. I love New York. New York is a city that tries to kill you every day. I tell people that all the time and they look at me cross-eyed like I'm an idiot. But it really is. And not just physically kill you, but it'll mentally kill you. It'll emotionally kill you. It will throw everything it has at you. And I really believe that that's where the adage of if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere comes from, because it's the subway, it's the traffic, it's the gobs of people, it's the competition for work, it's the competition for apartments, it's finding friends in a city of 8 million. It's finding your way in a city of 8 million. It's finding out how to be an individual in a place that there is something for everybody. And Shayna and I did that. We would get on and we would just walk the city for hours on end to explore it. We would eat everywhere. We would try new things. New York strengthened our marriage to a point that when it came time to leave New York, it didn't matter where we went, whether it was Amsterdam or London or Germany or Morocco or the North Pole. We knew that if we went there together, that there was nothing that was going to stop us. New York made me be happy with me and forced me to do things that I never thought I would do. This vlog's a great example of it. I don't like talking into a camera. I'm very self-conscious about the way I look. I'm very self-conscious about the way I talk. I'm self-conscious about my spelling. But for some odd reason in New York, it just didn't fucking matter. It just said, just get out there and do it. So New York taught us how to live with uncomfortable, and we just keep pushing that. And now here we are in Amsterdam. New York was amazing to us. We made so many awesome friends that supported us and tested us and made us better people. And that city will do that to you. That city will make you the best that you possibly can be. And I'm extremely grateful for my time in New York. And I look forward to being back there as soon as I can. So, to New York, thank you. And we will see you again very soon. Bye.